Okay, can we start?
Yes, doctor, you can start.
Okay. So, what I was thinking, I'm getting a lot of questions regarding the assignment and the research papers, how to differentiate between the original research and the review or like that one. So, before going to the main content of the discourse, let's have a discussion about that one and how to differentiate between the different type of the articles, right? So I have shared some. Okay, let me allow him. Okay. So what I can do, I can go for the. Let me. Uh, yeah. Okay. So let's start with the this one. If there will be any question, any doubt in your mind, you can raise your hand or you can ask that time. You have only 3 days to submit your assignment, so you should be clear about the what kind of paper you are going to choose. If you're going to make the report on the review paper, that should be discarded. I'm not going to accept that one. Paper should be a research article or original research. If you can say research article, sometimes referred as the empirical primary source. That means the data you are using, that should be the primary data, right? Data should be the primary one that may be collected from the some industry, some survey or whatever that may be. That should not be collected by some other person. You are going to use it as the secondary one, right? These type of the research include sections such as introduction, method, like that one. Okay. Review article, what is that? Based on the secondary source, already published sources are considered here. That synthesize means combine, analyze the research already conducted in a particular area. Okay, and on basis of that, that is going to tell about what is recently happening in the particular area. So we can have the, let's say, more detail, like type of the study maybe. You can see this screen and you can identify. There may be the empirical study that is known as the original research, right? That highlights the different steps. If there should be such kind of papers, that should have the different steps like abstract, introduction. Introduction, what should be included? That trace way back to the problem that is being investigated. And develop and provide the purpose for the investigation. Why that problem has been chosen? What is the motivation behind that one? In method, you are supposed to, or researchers are supposed to justify, in introduction, they are supposed to justify the problem selection, why that is important, what is the significance, and like that. In method, it is expected that the procedure of the conduct of the research should be mentioned. How research has been conducted, what procedure they have taken, and why that procedure only. Why not the different procedures, or what are the other available procedures available? That may be part of introduction. Introduction not only of the problem statement and the significance, but also that consider the background, some sort of the literature review, right? Then finally the results, report the findings and analysis of the investigation. And in the discussion, you are going to summarize or interpret or discuss the implication of your results. Okay. So this is the sort of the empirical study based upon the some sort of the data, right? In empirical study, always there should be some data, right, from the primary source. What is the review articles or literature review? These articles critically evaluate previously published materials. That means whatever published in a particular area or a particular topic, these articles is going to look upon that kind of the papers. They make a framework to analyze all that one, right? What are the different findings reported in the different literatures? They organize in a logical order in the given framework, and that can be literature will then provide the definition and clarification of problem. Okay, I already told that in the exploratory research, when problem is ill-defined, we go for the some sort of the literature review to define the problem in the clarity, right? So this also provides the summary of the earlier research to inform readers what the research status is, where the research is going on in the particular area. If you are going to start your thesis or research, it is very important for you to go for the one or two very good state of art literature review in your area. From that, you can get a lot of information. And that paper should be the recent one, so that recent happening in a particular area should be obtained. Also, this identify relationship, contradiction, gap, and inconsistency in the materials that reports in the literature review paper, any good literature review paper, based upon the others' work, original work. What literature review do? Literature review analyze all the original research and combine them in a one paper. So that identifies the relationship. If there will be any contradiction, like one author is saying that the effect of this is this one, another is saying the opposite one. So that also report, okay, this particular authors, this in favor of this one, this is in against of this one, and why they are saying that, and if possible, they can, literature review that can give the some guidance, who can be trusted or not, like that. They can suggest about the how the problem should be solved, what can be the future research direction, what's going to happen in the future, like that one. Let me take an example of the one very good let's say how to search. Let's say I'm going for the green supply chain management. Okay. Always people are coming all the time. State of art literature review. See, in the each area you can get the some sort of the very good review like this one. Okay. Oh my God. Let's say I get this paper and the green supply chain management. The topic is green supply chain management, state of art literature review. And see how many paper he has consulted. First, he defined the green supply chain management. What is that? In research methodology, he has followed material because he is reviewing all the papers, relevant papers in that area. So research methodology focus upon that one. Then delimiting is study. Then classifying all the materials on some context basis. A framework you are supposed to design, like a framework is designed to classify all the materials. Please join at a time, not again and again. That is disturbing. I have to always admit like that one. Okay. Then on the basis of that, how many papers are discussing what things like green design? How many papers are discussing about that one? Different aspect, importance of the green supply chain management. How many papers are reporting or working upon that one? Green. Oh God. How many papers discuss the green manufacturing, remanufacturing, green operations, right? And like that one. And you can say, see that if you're going to look upon the some, let's say, this is the summary in the graphical form. He has taken the timeline of the 1999 to, let's say 2005, maybe this paper around 2006 or 7. So almost 15-16 years of the timeline is there, and whatever paper published in the which area. A graphical presentation is here, analysis is here. Okay. And here you can see that conclusion part, in that they are going to give the some research direction, what is going to be happen, what is the biggest challenge in the green supply chain management we are facing right now. That challenge can be a problem to solve. That can be a research gap. Okay. And you can see that for writing a good literature review requires a lot of the good papers, maybe in hundreds. Here see the references he has more than 150 or something like that one. Yeah, more than 200. Okay, total references here is the 227. But this is not original research. Okay, this is not a original research. This is just a literature review. I asked you to go for the some sort of the original research. Means some new methodology will be there, some empirical data will be there, like this one. Let me explain it with some of the other examples I have. Right? The paper may be of the different kind, different types. Original research, literature review, book chapter, conference paper, short commentary. There may be different types of the articles you can have. Right? So let us start. Let me go with some. Okay. If you can see there. Okay, I am going to show the some of my paper. This one. If you can see this is a conference proceeding published in the Procedure. In conference, we don't report so much things, not a full paper. There may be some guidelines, some what we are doing, and like that one. Okay. Some people report whole the work. So conference proceedings doesn't come with any kind of the original or like that kind of research. Second type of the article can be book chapters. Like here, you can see chapter number 11 from a book. If I have to search this book, I have to see this one from where that is coming. Let me. yeah. This is from the IGI publication somewhere, and there is a book on the some sort of the sustainable or sustainability development. Out of that, I have written a one chapter. So this is the designing and implementing global supply chain management. Okay, and in that one chapter, there may be the different authors written the different chapters. One chapter is from it. So this book chapter has a different form, this different format as per the requirement of the book. And like that, so another paper can be the book chapters. Book chapters also consist of the abstract and introduction and other things like that one. Okay. The next comes the sort of the non ISI journal or the Web of Science journal. This is simple journals. Okay. So we are not going to, this kind can be taken as the research article. Okay. Let's say this is the original paper. Okay. Just hold on for a minute. Yeah, come in. But I am taking the class after. Can you come after sometimes? Let's say after 30 minutes.
After 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Shall I come?
Yeah.
Because after resign, I will need to get there.
Okay, I have to see this thesis also. After that, I'll.
So when?
After 30 minutes, within 20 or 30 minutes, I will be free here, and after that, I will go through your thesis. Okay. Okay. Okay, sorry for that. So many students. So these can be, you can see on the top of that paper, it is written original paper, right? That means, yeah. Any question? Anything? So in most of the cases, if there is original paper, you can find the original paper written above that one or in some format, different from original article or original paper, like that one may be written. Let me move this. How to move this? I don't know. Same way, you can say the another paper that is in the different journal. Okay, that is also writing the original article. But it is not necessary that always you are going to get this kind of straightforward classification of the article. Some papers, they are original, but there won't be any kind of indication like this one in the Journal of Intelligent Manufacturing. Right? Here you can't find like that. So you have to, in that case, if you are confused, you have to go through the abstract. Right? Read the abstract. From the abstract, you can get whether that is the original one, is new research study is there, or that is just some sort of the literature review like that one. That is very easy to identify, right? And for, okay, I'll come to this slide later on. So this is the difference between the original and the literature review and other type of the paper. If anyone have any question, any doubt, you can ask right now about the assignments, how to find the original documents, original articles. Any question? No question? So I don't expect any question from right now, because I was getting a lot of question on our group about how to differentiate the literature review and the other things and like that one. Is your doubt clear? Solved, resolved?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, as we have addressed that question, now we can proceed to our course, whatever we discuss. Before going to that one, let's say, as almost we have spent 23, 24 minutes upon this one, and only 15 minutes is left in this class. So let me give you some guidelines how we are going to deal with the design of experiment. As you know, that design of experiment is itself a full-fledged course. Wherever there is some input, some component of the research in any course, design of experiment become a full-fledged course there, right? Here we don't have that kind of course in our master program, a full-fledged design experiment course. That should be, if research is a big component of your study, we have the only one chapter, not one full chapter also. If you go through the course outline, whosoever prepared the course outline or whatever that may be, just there is mentioned that design of experiment. In other universities and other places, this is a full-fledged course. There should be syllabus like that. So we may not be able to discuss all the aspects of the design of experiment in detail. In detail means in depth, okay? But I'll try to give you at least the working knowledge, how to design the experiment and what sort of the tools available to us for the data collection, for data analysis, and how to interpret the results. Now each experiment has a different nature and that requires a different type of the techniques. So I suggest if you will be able to read some books, this is a very good book. Are you able to see the screen?
No.
No, doctor.
No, sir.
No, no.
Ah, sorry. Are you able to see this screen?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a very good book. One of the founding book in this area. And this will help you a lot in your research. Okay. Besides that, some other books we can have, if required, you can go for that one. Let's say Seltman's Experimental Design Analysis. This is a short book, but gives a lot of knowledge. For the better understanding of the design experiment, there is some prerequisite. Prerequisite means previous knowledge required. You should have the basics of the probability theory, basic concept of the probability, statistics. If you have that one, then this will be very easy to understand each and every concept in this one. If you don't have, right? So if you don't have that kind of concept, you need not to worry about that one. You can go through these books and you can read out all the basic concept like central limit theorem and other things, binomial distribution multinomial, is given in these books. And they will help you to understand a lot about how to analyze the data, which test to perform, which ANOVA to be taken, and like that one. In this class, we are going to discuss the basics of the ANOVA also. ANOVA is the analysis of variance, okay? Some sort of the errors are like that one, like type 1 error, type 2 error, and what is that one, and how to do that. So basic concept we can have from this course, but if you want the in-depth knowledge and really you want to apply in your research, I should recommend to go through these books, read as much as possible. along with your research topics also. Okay. And there are a lot of the good books and the papers and the articles available upon that one. You can go through that one. So that information I wanted to share with you all. Now coming to our, I think we are discussing this one in the previous class, right? Introduction, we have discussed that one. Now coming to randomization. Performing the experiment in the random order, not following a pattern. What is the motivation behind that one? Basically, we want to minimize the effect of the uncontrollable variables. See now, in this slide we have discussed that there should be the controllable factors, input, uncontrollable factors or the variables. Factors, what is the factor? Factors are the variables, already know. So if you perform the experiment in the random order, not in the some pattern, not in the set order, there is chances that effect of the uncontrollable variables will be minimized, or if there should be some biasness, that should be minimized or decreased. It is not possible to get rid of effect of the uncontrollable factors or variables, right? It may not be, because you don't aware of the what kind of that variables are. If you know the variables, you can control that one, right? That is not controllable only due to that fact that we don't know about that one, or there is not enough information, or some variable you don't want to control. That may be the another case. So for that purpose, we do the randomization. Okay. So randomizer need to minimize. You can use the random numbers or any other theory how to select the particular experiment to run. Okay. Sometimes we generate the random numbers. Let's say 1 to 30. If you do the simple experiment, let's say you have to perform the 10 experiments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 experiments. In the serial number, you have prepared a chart. For each experiment, there is just some level. For the each parameter, input variable is defined. Okay, temperature will be this much will be blah blah. All the factors is defined, right? And you prepare a serial list. Now, which experiment when to perform? Just do the randomization. What you can do? Take a container or some sort of the box, write the serial number 1, 2, 3 on the paper and just put it in that one. Randomly mix it and blindly take the one out of that one. If that is the number 1 or number 5, number 6, whatever that may be, you will perform that experiment first. Then again take the another one. So that will make your experimentation in a random order. Randomization. Okay, understood? If not, we'll do some demo upon the randomization, how to conduct the experiment in the random order. Okay. Next is the blocking. Sometimes due to the available resources or the cost factor, etc. Because in randomization, what happens? You have to change the setting at each and every time. In case of the machine setting, some machines require some sort of the different operations or some different levels, and for achieving that one, you require the different kind of settings. That may be not advisable or cost effective or time effective. So for that purpose, we go for the blocking. We create a block, same sort of the setting, but inside that we also do the random experiment. So as our requirement or depending on the limitation, we create a similar sort of the setup first, and then conduct the experiment. So again and again, we don't have to change that one, right? So, but inside that block also, that setting also, the experiment should be randomized in the random order that has to be conducted to minimize any kind of the biasness or the ill effect of the uncontrollable factors, that factors or variables that is not in our control, right? And third one, very important one, very, very important for the any research study or any experiment itself. If you conducted any experiment in your bachelor classes, have anyone taken the course of the engineering mechanics anywhere?
Yes.
Engineering mechanics course. Have you done any experiment on the mechanics? Simple experiment, like to find out the coefficient of friction, or to find out to verify the law of force polygon or anything. Have you done any experiment like that in your bachelor? Anyone? No experiment till date? Have you attended any lab classes in your bachelor's? I know in master's you didn't came to the classroom, so due to the corona. But I think in the bachelor courses, wherever you have done that one, or when you are going to, you all are, I suppose that you all are the teachers, so you must be conducting the lab classes. Whenever you are going to measure the values, we don't satisfy for the one value, we replicate for a particular level settings. We measure at least 3 values and take the average of that one. If there should be any biasness, that minimize. So repetition of the basic experiment without changing any factor setting, okay? That allows the researcher to estimate the experimental noise. What is the noise? There are 2 things in their experiment. One is the signal. Signal is due to our controllable factors, that is in our control. And anything out of that one, something is coming, that should be treated as a noise. So we can say that, let's say, if in any experiment, output, whatever output in any form should be equal to output due to controllable variables, or you can say factors, plus output due to uncontrollable factors. This output, let me, where I am, yeah, this output due to the factors under consideration in our control, this is known as the signal. And this we don't know from where that is coming. In day-to-day life, the sound that is coming from the undesired sources, what we call it? Noise. Okay. So there can be noise, there can be signal. We are interested in this signal and try to minimize the noises. This noise should be minimized. And if there should be any source, relevant source, or how much noise is there, if you have to identify, that is not possible to get in only one run of the experiment. That requires multiple run. So that requires the replication. Again and again we are going to do the replication, and then we are going to get the some noises. We can get the idea about how much percentage that is of the output. And much of the analysis depend upon the signal and noise ratio. We'll discuss it later on when go for the analysis part or ANOVA, like that one. Okay. So replication is the repetition of the basic experiment without changing any factor. Same thing you are going to repeat again and again. Okay. Whether the observed difference in the data are real or just noise. If for same setting you conduct the repeated experiment, if the same noise is contributing to all the experiment, they can be differentiated. That can be identified. And what is the real contribution at the different levels in the different experiment can be identified. Right? Now we have the less than 1 minute. If you have any question, you want to ask anything, you can ask right now. Our class will end in 1 minute or less than of the 1 minute. If anyone want to ask any question, they can. No questions?
Yes.
Okay. Try to read as much as possible. Okay. Only one thing is going to help anyone. Either reading, knowing, understanding. Right? First try to read, then try to know or get the information